Good morning, everyone. I am back from my summer holiday, which was absolutely beautiful. We had an amazing time with my family. We relaxed. We didn't rush towards anything. We slept in. We ate maybe a little bit too much. But now I'm back. And I have to tell you that my garden looks really sad. It looks really like it needs some attention, maybe some water, and maybe some overcast, which we actually have today. And I'm so happy because let me tell you, I'm looking this direction because this is one of my saddest, one of the saddest parts of my garden. But one of the biggest problems of my garden is that I don't have dripping system. I only have sprinklers, and you know that overhead watering is not the best. And especially when I have so much grass, the gardener wants to keep the water a little bit lower because of some fungus and things like that. On the other hand, I want more water because I want my plants to thrive. So yeah, we had 40 degrees Celsius the whole week, which is probably around 103 or 104 Fahrenheit, which is pretty high. It was really hot, really dry. My garden is southwest, which means that it is exposed to sun all day long, like 12-14 hours. And my plants have suffered, I will be honest with you. But we're gonna take a look at everything, and then I'm gonna deadhead, I'm gonna weed, I'm gonna trim what needs to be trimmed, and I'm gonna try to revive what seems like is almost dead. But let's start with on a positive note. I'm gonna show you the lonicera, the honeysuckle that I planted a week ago. The day before I left for my holiday, I was so worried because I knew it was gonna be really hot. And you know, for a newly planted plant, you want to take a look on it, you want to keep an eye on it, you want to water it a little bit more, you know, to check in. So I was worried, but I have to report that it is doing great. Let me show you. Look at it. It looks so beautiful. It is perky, it is fresh, it is green. On the day that I arrived, it looked quite sad, but it was really hot, and I just gave it an additional drink of water, and on the next day it was beautiful. So I have my hopes really high, but I'm really worried about the color of the blooms. As you will probably realize, as we are gardening together in my country, it is not unheard of to order a plant and then for it to turn out completely different color, at least, if not something completely different. But this was supposed to be like a burgundy bloom with yellow or creamy inside, and to me it looks completely yellow, but we'll see. The other honeysuckle, the gold flame, looks stunning. It doesn't have blooms at the moment, but it is gonna have soon. Look at that. But it is so, look at that, it is going to bloom soon. It is so beautiful, it is so fresh, it is so luscious. And I know it is at the moment it is working on the root system because it was recently planted, but also look at the foliage. This is why I wanted to plant this here. I had a rose and it was struggling, to be honest, like really struggling for 2 years, and I was like, you know what, at this point I really want something that is gonna make me happy. And this is the what I see from my garden when I look through my kitchen window. So I wanted something that makes me happy, and this actually does. So let's see how the other plants are doing. Oh my god, I'm sorry about the noise. I have ordered a mic, but it hasn't arrived yet. If you remember in the last video, I told you that I'm gonna plant another buddleia. This is what I actually did the night before we left. I planted this one. These two are from the series Butterfly Candy. This is Little Grape. This one is Little Grape. And this one is Little Lila. It just needs some deadheading. But to be honest, at this point, it is newly planted. It is doing fine. I'm okay with it. My olive tree actually has, this olive tree has a history. The history of my olive tree is that I tried really hard to kill it. It was inside in a pot, and I constantly was forgetting to water it. This is what I do with my indoor plants. I just forget to water them, and it actually, like, it looked dead. It didn't have any leaves, like not a single leaf to be seen. And I was like, let's put it in the garden. And my gardener was like, no, this is dead. And I was like, you know what? I just want to know, just for my peace of mind, that I have tried everything for this olive tree. So we planted in the garden. It looked dead for weeks, and then I decided to like heavily trim it. And in a week, it started to leaf out, and it looked much better. The whole summer, the whole last summer, it looked great. Then this spring, I decided that I want to move it. So I put it here, and it doesn't only feel great, but it actually gave me some olives, like real olives. I was so happy. Well, there are 3, but still 3 is much more than 0 olives, and especially much more than a dead tree. So what I want to do is actually I want to connect I want to remove the grass from the olive tree, and I want to connect it with this buddleia flower bed, which was, first of all, is going to be much better for the olive tree not to have grass on top of it, on top of the root ball, but also it will give me a little bit more space to plant some things. And I know it is 40 degrees, and I know it is not the best time to plant, but I have ordered a few echinaceas and actually a crepe myrtle, but we'll talk about it when it arrives. So this garden looks really bad. It looks so messy. It is really crowded. I actually overplanted it, so that's why it looks really crowded. But look at that weed. Look how huge this is. It desperately needs weeding. This is, I know it looks really bad, but actually this is hydrangea microphylla, which is probably one of the few types that can stand really hot sun. But since it is its first year, I planted it this spring, it really just burnt in the sun. But I removed the spent blooms and I left it like that, and look how much new growth we have. I am absolutely amazed by this plant, because I didn't even know that hydrangeas microphylla can stand such a harsh sun. The series is called Black Steel, and this is pink bow, but you can't tell because there are no bows on it. Anyway, this is my little lime punch, which took a hit from the sun, can't lie, but it is doing pretty good considering the circumstances. This verbena, I love how it looks, but it grows like crazy. I left it here. I mean, I didn't trim it before I left because I wanted it to keep a little bit of shadow for the hydrangeas. It didn't go as anticipated, as you will see with my little hottie hydrangea here. Look at it. Oh, poor thing. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the dead leaves, I'm gonna remove the spent blooms, and I'm just gonna keep it like that and just wait to see if there is any life left in it. If not, well, it is what it is. I have this beautiful echinacea here. It is supposed to be meditation orange, and I have no idea if it actually is, because it doesn't look like that. Do you have any suggestions what this might be? It is so beautiful. Now it started to turn pink here on the base of the petals, and it is so, I love it. I just love echinaceas with huge cones. My salvia is doing pretty good. It needs a little bit of a trim, but what I'm gonna do, because I actually trimmed these two much earlier than the others, so I'm gonna wait, and I want to clean them together so that they grow together. I just don't like the look of, the same plant in different stages. As you can see, we have the taller ones, and then we have some smaller ones here. So I want to wait, and I'll wait everything to be done blooming, and then I'm gonna deadhead it. We have our Rose of Sharon, which is pink chiffon, and also I have the blue chiffon here, doing amazing. All of these plants that you see here, all the trees, everything that you see, besides the hedging, besides the grass and the olive tree, is planted this spring, this summer, this year. So you can imagine how happy I am that everything is doing pretty good. This echinacea is looking really bad because I planted it a week ago and it arrived from the store looking really, really bad, to be honest. I wasn't actually sure if I'm gonna even plant it, but I was like, I'll give it a chance. It looks really bad, so probably didn't have enough light or enough water in the garden center, and it looks bad, and probably I'm gonna deadhead it at this point because it's flopping. This is Magnus and it is supposed to be really upwards, like perky stems, and it's not supposed to need staking, but it actually does, as you can see. So we'll see. Maybe I'm gonna stake it, maybe I'm gonna deadhead it. We'll decide. And now let's see this flower bed here. This is another of the plants that oh my god, Nicky is sneezing so loudly that probably you can hear him. So this echinacea was supposed to be a bright rose one, and this arrived from the same place that the Magnus arrived from, and it looked bad as well. And I have another one that looks really bad as well from the same place. I'm not gonna order any plants from there anymore, but anyway, since I already have them, this is supposed to be bright rose, but to me it looks like just Echinacea purpurea. We'll see. It is a new plant, maybe it will change color, but to me it looks like it's not bright rose. This is a crepe myrtle pink velour that I planted it. I don't need to tell you that I planted it recently, because everything is planted recently. But this is a pink velour crepe myrtle that I'm so thrilled about, because look at it. It looks like it's gonna have blooms. Look. Oh, love it. I love it. But it is really tiny, because I really wanted a crepe myrtle that I'm gonna train in a multi-trunk tree. But just in my country, I can't find big enough crepe myrtle that are not already a single stem or grafted trees. So I decided I much rather buy a small, like really young plant, and I'm gonna have enough time to train it into a multi-trunk tree, than buying a single trunk tree and then just trying to figure out how to train it differently and wait for suckers and things like that. So this is what I decided, but I ordered, as I told you earlier, another crepe myrtle, and we'll talk about it when it arrives. This is Salvia Nemorosa Cardona, which is just getting ready for its second flush of blooms. This is my Echinacea Pow Wow Wildberry, which is doing fabulous. But as you can see, I really overplanted this flower bed. It is so crowded, and I don't know what I'm gonna do at this point. Probably nothing, but in the spring maybe I'll have to move some things around. This is my Earth Angel by Cordes, and this is Spicy Perfume by Cordes as well. They're doing good. They need some deadheading. They look really fresh. I love the foliage of this one. It is so beautiful and shiny and gorgeous. And even now, look at it. It was planted this spring. Look at how much blooms it gives me. Gorgeous. But I feel like these two just really don't like the overhead watering, which is understandable. Can't blame them. This pink salvia is doing decently, needs a little bit of deadheading, but I don't know if I'm gonna do it today. Maybe I will, to be honest. Maybe I will. I'll just do a toasty chop. All the salvias, all the cut mints, they just get a toasty chop. Look at this one here. It is our Asiatic Star Jasmine, doing really good. I mean, considering the fact that it was planted and then 2 weeks later moved, I'm happy with it. This salvia is ready to be deadheaded. This rose doing fine. This is the Roald Dahl by David Austin. The Echinacea is doing fine. This is Penelope Lively by David Austin as well. Needs like severe deadheading. Looks really bad. Look at this. Look at this weed. My Shasta daisies are doing pretty fine, considering the fact that it is pretty late in the season. This one is Madonna. another echinacea, which is sombrero double pink. This is the third echinacea that actually arrived from the store that really didn't do a good job. This is the mellow yellow. It looks really bad, and I probably am going to deadhead it and give the plant like a breath of fresh air, just to work on its root system and just try to revive. This echinacea here was supposed to be Pow Wow Wildberry, but it is not. As you can see, there are many plants that I order and then they bloom and I realize it's something else. This is my sceptered isle from David Austin, which needs just a little bit of deadheading. Salvia is doing good. The catmint is actually on its second flush of blooms. Really, it took some time. I did a toasty drop on it probably around 15th of June. So now it is a month and a half later, so 6 weeks later. It doesn't look much. But since it is its first year, I'm okay with it. It's doing fine. This is delicious candy echinacea that I love so much that I just ordered another one. Because look at that cone. It is actually dome shaped. It is huge. Amazing. And these are the Shasta Daisies banana cream, like the original edition, not the second one. This one is done. It is just done. This one has two blooms that look really nice and fresh. This is another black steel hydrangea. This one is Zorro. And the same, I did the same that I did with the pink ball. I just cut the blooms and left it like that, and look how much new growth it has. It doesn't look nice, it doesn't look good, but this is its first year, so it needs a little bit of time to settle in, and I'm gonna give it. This is raspberry truffle echinacea, and these are Miri here. I'll probably remove it from here. It seems like it really can't take the overhead watering, and I'll probably plant another echinacea here. My lavender is doing decently. A few dianthus have died. Here, another one over there. This one doesn't look really good, and to be honest, the reason that I planted dianthus is because I just love the scent, but I just don't like the look that much in this garden particularly, so probably I will remove them. Supreme Cantaloupe echinacea looking pretty good, I think. I like it. And this is the saddest part. Look at it. This was my biggest disappointment when I arrived from my holiday, my hydrangea bobo. I will show you how it looked the morning we left. It was so beautiful. I was so proud of it because I planted it in April and it was so tiny and it looked fabulous with these huge blooms. It was green, it was lush. I was so happy with it. And then we arrived and I saw this sad picture. Really sad. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove all the leaves that are completely burned. They're crispy, like, I don't know if you can hear, but they're literally crispy. And I'm gonna remove the spent flowers, and I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna keep an eye on it, and I'm gonna give it additional drinks of water when it is really hot, and give it a chance to revive if it can. If not, we'll see. But that's it. Oh no, I wanted to show you the buddleias that we switched the soil last week. So these are the buddleias, and they actually look really good. I was so worried about them, and I put them underneath the Japanese willow tree here, because I really wanted to give them a little bit more shade, and it worked. I'm really happy. I think this one needs a little bit more soil because the soil just sinked in after watering it. They need deadheading, but overall I'm pretty happy. Now let's do the actual work. It is actually really difficult to deadhead these tiny buddleias because there are so many little tiny new blooms that are coming, and I'm so afraid that I'm gonna trim them off by accident. But at the same time, I really need to give the plant a chance just to grow new blooms and not worry about the old ones. There are some new blooms that look really bad, they look really burnt, but I think I'm gonna leave them like that. Yeah, I just don't want to disturb the plant anymore because they're so tiny, and I'm just gonna trim more than I want, so I'm gonna leave it like that on this one. And this is the gorgeous pink one, which I think is gonna be much bigger than the blue one, the red one and the blue one, because look at that bloom. It is so much bigger than the ones that the other colors had. Probably it's gonna be a bigger bush. Now I'm gonna add some soil into this pot. I think I'm done with the buddleias here, so I'm gonna continue with the flower bed with the bobo hydrangea. Let's see what we can do for this tall bobo. There is some green in the base of each little stem, so I'm not gonna cut the whole bloom, I'm just gonna cut the stems, the little strings that hold the blooms, hoping that maybe it will leaf out from this green area here. Well, that's it. I think I'm gonna leave it like that and hope for the best. This salvia here always gets really leggy, so I'm gonna give it another go. I'm gonna trim it to the base and I'm gonna see how it does, because I feel that maybe it doesn't get enough sunlight here. But now that the bobo doesn't have leaves, maybe it will have, but we'll see. It just doesn't look good. I'll try to remove the staking of this echinacea here, the raspberry truffle. I thought it's gonna be much more bright and vivid, but maybe it is the heat. Yeah, it looks good. I just don't know what to do with this echinacea. Maybe I will just do the unthinkable and cut all these blooms. But it just doesn't look good. I'm gonna give the plant a chance. Yeah, I loved it. Look at it. It is like plastic. It feels literally like plastic. Gorgeous. I have not changed my mind about weeding, but I want to do all the trimming and deadheading and things like that before weeding, because I just don't want to switch my gloves on and off, on and off, on and off, because I can't deadhead with gloves and I can't weed with bare hands, or I just don't want to. So anyway, I'm gonna finish all the deadheading, all the trimming and Chelsea chop and things like that, and then I'm gonna weed the whole garden. look at the amount of mostly scotchweed. Was it scotchweed? I'll write it on the screen if I'm wrong. But can you imagine? It is, and I will lie to you if I tell you that I removed all the roots. I just didn't have the arm strength. They're so deep and so thick. I just couldn't. But I think that things look much better now. I'm really happy with the result. And yeah, there's more to do, more of these horrific weed. I dropped some here. You saw the amount of weed that I removed from my garden. Now I'm gonna take out the yellow leaves of my oleander tree. And I probably know, but the oleander tree is highly, highly toxic. Every single part of the tree, like the blooms, the leaves, the branches, everything is toxic. So I try to be extra cautious when I deal with it. And I usually touch it with gloves, not always. But every time I touch it, I make sure to wash properly and thoroughly my hands. It looks pretty good, still has some blooms. There's a construction site nearby, that's why you hear all these noises. I'm sorry about that. What I've noticed when I arrived is that this bamboo stick, or whatever it is, the stick that supports the tree, cuts into the tree itself. Do you see that? So now I really don't know what to do. It cuts pretty deep. Probably there was some wind in this direction, and I can put some fabric or a sponge or something like that here between the tree and the stick. But my worry is that with the overhead watering, the sponge is gonna be really soaked in water, and it's gonna make the tree rot, or like a fungus disease or something like that. I really don't know what to do. I can shorten it or I can completely remove it, but it is a pretty new plant. I planted it in June, so a month and a half ago. It probably doesn't have very strong root system. If you have any suggestions, I'll be really, really happy to hear what your advice is. Overall, I'm pretty happy how the garden looks now. It is much, much fresher, much cleaner. Definitely not as sad as it used to look an hour ago. So yeah, I'm pretty satisfied. Well guys, that was it for today's video. I really hope I don't have dirt on my face, but anyway, I enjoyed it so much. Now my garden looks much fresher, much cleaner. Yes, there are so many other things that needs to be done, but there is always something in the garden that needs to be done. I think that was enough for today. It is getting hot, I'm getting tired, and I really hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I hope to see you soon. Bye!